Hey, what's up everybody? It's Christian with Reaper Discs, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Axiom Envy. The Envy is a 3-speed putt and approach disc that is more on the overstable side as far as flights go. It is a putt and approach disc, but most people will find the most use of this disc as a driving putter and approach putter. I've known a few people to putt with the Envy, but most people will end up using it as a throwing putter. So because of that, today we're going to be mainly looking at the flight characteristics of the Envy. The Envy is a flatter topped and slightly deeper rimmed putter, and honestly it fits in my hand very, very well. I've been throwing it for a couple weeks now. Prior to that, I had never thrown one, and needless to say, I love it. I actually really like the Envy as a throwing putter. I got it out in the field, did a little bit of testing on it, and determined that yes, it is a little more on the overstable side of things. But unlike other really overstable putters, this doesn't just like dump off into like a really strong fade and, kind of a dumpy hyzer. Instead, this right here will continue to push forward as it's fading. So when I got this out and tested it, I tested it on 3 different release angles and then a full power shot. So on a hyzer angle, I was mainly looking for control with this disc. So on the hyzer angle, I didn't put a ton of power on it, but I threw it and it, for the most part, held the hyzer the entire way. And like I said, it doesn't dump back to the ground, so it continued to push forward while it faded. It did have a very comfortable feel and release on a hyzer, which is probably the easiest one to release cleanly of the 3 typical release angles. But it still felt like it came out of the hand very clean, held a good uniform hyzer the entire flight, and continued to push forward as it found the ground. Alright, so for my second throw, I threw it with a flat release angle, and just, throwing it out there, I did have a little bit of a steady tailwind, but with other throws that I've had with no wind with this disc that weren't recorded, it didn't really change the flight that much. So when I threw this with a flat release, it got to flat and even just got a little bit of turn and continued just to hold straight, maybe turned off to the right and just kind of glided with that slow panning shot, but didn't really ever get all the way over on a true anhyzer angle after it was released from my hand. It kind of moved to the right a little bit, but then it got back to flat and then finished pretty straight. Now with an anhyzer release, I will say that, I did release this a little high, but for the most part, it did what I was expecting it to do. I got it up in the air, and initially on that anhyzer angle, I started off left and it immediately started moving right even as it was climbing into the air. Once it kind of reached the apex of the flight, it started really trailing off to the right and just continued to glide as it continued to anhyzer. Eventually, it did get back to flat, full pan out, and just kind of stalled and fell back down, but not, before eating up a ton of distance. And that is one thing that really surprised me with this disc was how far it actually goes. Unlike most putters and everything that are overstable that you can really throw hard on, that, once they slow down, they kind of dump and fall out of the sky, the Envy will continue pushing forward. And because it continues to push forward, you can actually get a little bit further than your typical throwing putter may, end up getting. And that's, a big draw to most players is throwing further. So if you're looking for that throwing putter that goes just a little bit further than you're used to, you're wanting to get that little bit extra distance, maybe give the Axiom a look, or maybe give the Envy a look. It's pretty good at it. So on a full power shot, I threw this not necessarily at 100%, but, in the 95% range, with a good stock hyzer release for me. As soon as I let this go, it immediately started popping up to flat and even got a little bit of turn out of it. It finished for the most part straight with a touch of hyzer angle at the very end, but this thing flew really far as it was going through the air. So all in all, I'm actually very surprised with the Envy. I even, put it in my bag to test it out for a while as my primary driving and approach putter, and I was very pleased with it, which is very weird for me to say. I don't really throw the gyro stuff too much, but I was very, very pleased with how the Envy flew, with how it felt in the hand. The plastic, this is in their baseline burst plastic, which is one, gorgeous, and two, feels amazing. You know, this right here just, I don't know about it. It's the grip of this. It's still firm and stiff around the rim, but the plate is soft. I feel like I can get a really good grip on it, whether it's a fan grip or even like a modified fan the power grip. I feel like I can really get a good solid grip on this disc, and it's going to release clean every single time. It's beadless, so I don't really have that hang up or worry about, a bead catching on my finger as it's releasing or anything like that. All in all, it is a very, very good purpose-built putter, and it does excellent at what it was designed to do. All right, everyone, and that pretty well wraps up my review of the Axiom Envy. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you guys think of the Envy. Have you ever thrown it? Is it something that you've been bagging for a while? Let me know how you guys use it, how much you guys trust it, and how it flies for you. Is this your go-to putter? Is this, your go-to driving putter or approach disc? Let me know what you guys use it for. And if you don't use it and have never thrown an Envy, leave me a comment and let me know, based on this, what spots this could fill in your bag. How would you use the Envy? Reach out, leave a comment, and let us know. I'd love to hear back from you guys. If you guys want to find an Envy, or if you want to shop through a very large selection of discs and awesome apparel, head on over to reaperdisc.com. They'll get you hooked up with whatever you could want. And again, I'm Christian with Reaper Discs, and this was my review of the Axiom Envy. I'll see you guys on the next video.